There are a lot of games that you guys are probably very excited for. However, with so many games being announced these days, and a lot of these games being revealed years and years ahead of their release, in this video, I want to take a look at a ton of games that you probably won't play for a very long time. Best case scenario for a lot of these games is late 2023. So yes, while these games are confirmed to be in development, temper your expectations for now, and you won't have a Cyberpunk 2077 situation where you're waiting 9 years excited for a game, and then the game ultimately ends up being a bit disappointing. Or even if you're just planning on playing a game in the very near future, yeah, with these games, you're probably gonna have to wait a little while, so let's get right into it. And let's start things off with a recently revealed game, Kingdom Hearts 4. Look, it's a big budget JRPG coming from Square Enix. We know how this song and dance goes. We had to wait years and years for the Final Fantasy VII Remake after its announcement. Even though we got a gameplay trailer after its initial cinematic trailer, very quickly thereafter, we still had to ultimately wait nearly 5 years for the game to officially come out. That might not be the case with Kingdom Hearts 4, however, if you think that the game is coming out this year or next year, I think that would be very, very wishful thinking. This is one you're probably gonna have to wait a while for. Next up, obviously, Grand Theft Auto 6. Need I say more? This is a game we know that it is in development. We have yet to see a trailer. We have yet to see any gameplay or anything like that. This is a game that Rockstar is going to invest a gigantic, a colossal amount of capital into, and they're gonna make sure that they can reap the rewards of this game's release. It will probably be a PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series release, but it'll probably get a PlayStation 6 release at some point. Maybe it will be launched on this generation of console, and then, much like GTA 5, a year after, it'll be on next generation platforms. You guys get the idea. But expecting to play GTA 6 anytime soon is just insane thinking in my eyes. Next up, the next Witcher game. It is not called The Witcher 4, they have clarified that. However, the next Witcher game is a game that is in development using Unreal Engine 5. The Witcher 3 came out back in 2015, and while The Witcher had a relatively consistent release pattern, you had Witcher 1 in 2007, Witcher 2 I believe in 2011, and Witcher 3 in 2015. This is one that is seemingly still pretty early on in its development, and these Witcher games are just getting bigger and bigger, and with Witcher 4, you know that they want to deliver as high quality of an experience as possible on launch day, especially after Cyberpunk 2077 was a bit disappointing to a lot of people. I won't be expecting the next Witcher game for quite a while. Alright, next up, another game that's been confirmed to be in development using Unreal Engine 5, the next Tomb Raider game. Now, outside shot, in all honesty, of this game being released in late 2023. It's not like Tomb Raider is this grandiose, enormous open-world RPG or anything like that. The game is in development, and we know that. Wouldn't be expecting it late this year, wouldn't be expecting it early next year. There is a shot for late 2023. Love me some Tomb Raider since the Tomb Raider 2013 reboot. If you guys have been following our channel, you know I constantly talk about those that trilogy of games. They're just all very good games. Rise of the Tomb Raider, probably the best one out of the three, but the new Tomb Raider, Unreal Engine 5, I think it's a slam dunk to be a fantastic game. Just wouldn't expect to be playing it in quite a while. Alright, next up, The Elder Scrolls 6. Man, oh man, I remember when this game was initially announced at E3, and I got a bunch of text messages from people being super excited, going, OMFG, can't believe it, The Elder Scrolls 6, it's coming. And how many years has it been since that initial reveal? Look, I don't even know why we got that reveal all those years ago. What was the point of that? I don't know. Maybe it's me being a little bit harsh, but we still know Bethesda's gotta put out Starfield first. That'll finally be coming out November 11th this year. Elder Scrolls 6, best case scenario, late next year. I'm more inclined to think 2024 for this one. But yeah, at this point, I don't think anyone's really counting the days until Elder Scrolls 6, given how long it's been since the initial announcement. But I think sooner or later, you're gonna get the game. But by the time the game comes out, man, it's gonna be like 13 years since the release of Skyrim, which is kind of wild to think about. Next up, the next Mass Effect game. Now, we now know that this game is in the early stages of development. It was initially in pre-production for a while. Mass Effect getting another title is exciting. I know Mass Effect Andromeda left a lot of people with a sour taste in their mouth. However, more often than not, BioWare does a pretty good job with the Mass Effect titles, especially when you look at the original trilogy. However, BioWare is currently at work on the next Dragon Age game, and it seems like we won't be getting that game for a while. So, yeah, the next Mass Effect, probably won't be seeing that for a while as well, but hopefully it's a title that BioWare can get back on track with. Alright, next up. People are gonna hate to hear this. Marvel's Wolverine. Look, the game is being done by Insomniac, one of the elite, top-tier studios on the planet. However, thought the announcement of this game was a little bit premature as well. Don't really understand why we saw the announcement last year, since we know Insomniac is working on Marvel Spider-Man 2, and chances are that's gonna be the first game that comes out. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is scheduled for 2023. Barring any delays, if that comes out in 2023, you would think Marvel's Wolverine would be a 2024 game. Why we got an announcement last year? I get it, it was a brief teaser trailer, but I wouldn't be expecting this until 2024 at the earliest. An outside shot for 2025 as well. I don't think that's a far cry by any stretch of the imagination. However, credit to Insomniac, they have been one of the most consistent studios in putting out games. Look, they put out Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, turned around, put out Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. They're doing Spider-Man 2, they're doing Marvel's Wolverine. They've been pretty consistent and definitely one of the top-tier studios in gaming over the last decade or so. I just think Marvel's Wolverine, if you're planning on playing that anytime soon, temper your expectations on that. I think it's going to be a 2024 title. Next up, one that really breaks my heart, but have to just accept this as reality. Beyond Good and Evil 2. Look, Ubisoft can tell me over and over again that this game is still in development and it's making smooth progress. I just don't know what to think about it, but I do know this, that I won't be playing it anytime in the near future. Beyond Good and Evil was one of those games that came out really under the radar, but a lot of people really enjoyed it when it initially came out. But back then, it was a game that was super niche, and commercially it seemingly didn't do like gangbuster numbers. However, over time it had built this following and people went back and played it and loved Beyond Good and Evil 1. I want to see Beyond Good and Evil 2 one day see the light of day. However, at this point, I'm just left to thinking, man, what is the status of this game? Hopefully it's making smooth progress, and hopefully we see, you know, a gameplay drop or something in the near future. But as far as actually seeing and playing the game, don't think that's going to happen for quite a while, and in all honesty, if ever. Next up, Max Payne 1 and 2, the remakes. Incredibly excited about this. Obviously, Remedy and Rockstar came to an agreement. Remedy's handling the development of the game. Remedy, of course, doing the original titles as well. Max Payne 1 and 2 are terrific games that I think everybody that played them loved these games. However, if you go back and play them in the year 2022, they show their age quite a bit. Now they're being remade with the Northlight engine that powered Control, and Control's a pretty good looking game. Max Payne 1 and 2 being uplifted in the form of these remakes, that's going to be nice to see. However, the only announcement we got with these games is just a press release, no cinematic trailer, obviously no gameplay trailer. These games are very much early in development, and I wouldn't be expecting a release until 2024 at the earliest. Alright, next up, a couple of Star Wars titles, and Star Wars has been getting a lot of games, and hell, most of them are ending up being pretty good. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake, we got that announcement coming from Aspyr. This is one that I think everybody is excited about. If you played KOTOR back in the day, the idea of a KOTOR remake, oh, sign us up. PlayStation 5, it's just going to be tremendous in probably 2024 or 2025. Alright, next up, Star Wars Eclipse. This is coming from Quantic Dream. They worked out a collaboration with Lucasfilm's games, and now we're getting Star Wars Eclipse, a game that is gonna be more choice and narrative driven. If you're familiar with Quantic Dream, exactly what you would expect, given Heavy Rain, given Beyond Two Souls, Indigo Prophecy, Detroit Become Human. All of those games are exceptionally narrative driven, leads to a lot of decision making with severe consequences, and I would expect that out of Star Wars Eclipse as well. It's probably going to be a game with a lot of interest, and again, it's going to be a game with a lot of interest in, honestly, like 2026. That's what I'm expecting. 2025 maybe, but 2026, 2025, around that range. Alright, next up, Indiana Jones is getting a video game. This kind of got like an under-the-radar announcement coming from publisher Bethesda and developer Machine Games. Now, Machine Games, if you're unfamiliar with them, they actually worked on the Wolfenstein games, and those games were rather good, so them shifting their attention to an Indiana Jones game, I think that could be pretty cool. Could see this one as a late 2023 release, don't get it twisted, which honestly isn't that long away. And there's another movie coming out, so if you want to do a movie tie-in, promote each other, I think that would be pretty effective. Late 2023 makes sense, early 2024 could see that as well. Alright, next up, Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate. We saw a brief announcement and reveal for this game kind of recently. A game that is still relatively early on in development by the looks of it, is going to be more of a mature Dragon Quest title, and it'll be interesting to see where the franchise goes from here. I thought the last Dragon Quest title was awesome, and hopefully they can parlay that into a quality title here with DQ12 when it does ultimately drop. Alright, next up, talked about it briefly a little while ago, but the next Dragon Age game. This game has seemingly been seeing some development turmoil, which is unfortunate, because as not great as Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda were, you still want to see BioWare get back on track. You still want to see BioWare do quality games, because BioWare was one of those studios that, you know, a decade ago, people would view them as a studio that could do no wrong. They always put out high-quality games. That's not the case anymore, but the narrative can shift very quickly, and you just need one high-quality game. A brand new Dragon Age title, that could be exactly the game that they need. At this point, I'm led to believe that this is going to be out for a while. Still holding out hope to a late 2023 release, but at this point I'm thinking 24. But yeah, who knows? I just want this game to turn out well, because BioWare, they must have an immense amount of pressure on their shoulders to put out a high-quality game. Every developer does, but even more so here, because the last two outings have been relatively lackluster. The next Dragon Age title really needs to be a home run. Alright, next up, the next Crysis game, Crysis 4. Just glad to hear this is in development. I think a lot of us were expecting to see the announcement of this game, given we saw the Crysis trilogy. Just happy to see that there will be another Crysis title. Crysis is a franchise that I think is a little bit underutilized, in all honesty. I know Crysis back in 2007 was just seen as a can your PC running kind of game, but if you actually assess it for what it is, it's a high-quality title as well. It's a good first-person shooter. I love me some Crysis 2. Crysis 3, not as hot on that one, but Crysis 2 and Crysis 1 I thought were tremendous. Hopefully they can deliver a high-quality first-person shooter with Crysis 4 as well. Let's hope to see that one out in 2024. Next up, another Ubisoft title, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Remake. This one just saw an announcement. It's Ubisoft. They are not my favorite publisher these days, but man, they still put out some good stuff. I thought Immortals Fenyx Rising was a pretty solid title, and really hoping for something high quality with the return of Splinter Cell. Look, we've been asking for it for years and years. I loved Blacklist when that came out back in, I believe, August of 2013. It's been that long since we saw the return of Splinter Cell, but hopefully with the Splinter Cell remake, it can provide a consistent wave of Splinter Cell titles that we can sink our teeth into, because it's an IP that is severely underutilized. Like, people have been clamoring for a new Splinter Cell for a very long time. Let's hope it happens. Alright, next up, new Wonder Woman game. The developers behind the Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor title, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. They're doing a Wonder Woman game, open world action title. Excited for this one. Honestly, Monolith is a pretty talented studio. Could see this sneak into a release late 2023. They've been a little bit quiet for quite a while, so this game might be further along than I am giving it credit for. It could be a 2023 release, but at this point, you know, I'm not expecting it anytime soon, but late 2023 at the earliest. And then lastly, the new Perfect Dark. Obviously, this is a game that's in development. It's a Microsoft first-party title, seemingly having some development turmoil as well, which is unfortunate, because I think a lot of people are excited for what Perfect Dark can do. Hopefully development gets on track for this one and we can see a smooth release when it does ultimately come out. I just don't think it's going to be anytime in the near future, but that is going to do it for me. These are just some of the games that I think we need to temper our expectations a little bit as far as when they're going to be coming out. Really nothing that I think is too much of a stretch. Couple of games that you can add to this list. I don't know the status of Fable, the next Fable title. However, it's done by Playground, and I'm pretty confident in them, and I think we're going to hear something about that soon, and hopefully it'll see a release quickly thereafter. Ubisoft is working on a Star Wars game that we don't know much about. And obviously, there's a bunch of games that are unannounced but are heavily speculated on. We can't really talk about those on this list. These are games that are officially confirmed. But that's going to do it for me. If I missed anything glaring, let me know in the comments section down below. Sound off there. As always, everyone, thank you for watching, and even though these games are probably not going to come out anytime soon, look, there's a lot of high-quality stuff coming out in the next 12 to 16 months that you can be very excited for. It's just with these specific games, I think it's best to kind of forget about them, and then when they do come out, hey, get excited and pick them up, as long as, obviously, you have interest in them. Alright, that's gonna do it for me. Sound off in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.